So sorry I had to split this video into two segments, but to finish up this lesson related to maintaining a professional stance, the last portion of this is view deconstructing questions. So the purpose of these, or any such questions, is to help oneself or another soften or break apart unquestioned beliefs about themselves or the world. And that's kind of a big thing. Sometimes that can be done somewhat easily, simply by pointing out something to someone that they hadn't previously thought of that has a ripple effect on the way that they view things. And in other cases, we might find that either ourselves or others have based quite a lot of our decision making in life on some of the more rigid kind of beliefs that we have left unquestioned. So one way that you can practice with this is to turn this toward yourself, and that's what I have for you to do as a part of an assignment for this week. And a couple of questions that relate to this idea of breaking up an unquestioned view or a rigid opinion is to ask oneself, is this view true? And the word view can be substituted for opinion, idea, story, belief, any of those things. And you can ask yourself, or in conversation with another, can you know if it's absolutely true? It doesn't just ask, is it absolutely true? It asks, can you know if it's absolutely true? Further, you can ask, how do you react when you hold this view or this belief? And by that should kind of specifically mean, how do you react to others who hold differing opinions or beliefs? And also, how does this view lead you to act in the world or respond to things in the world? Another question you can ask is, does holding this view or believing the idea in question help you feel more the way you want or reach the goals in your life that you want to? This step is basically kind of a cost-benefit analysis, which is asking yourself if holding this view is beneficial to me, and if it leads to a fulfilling of the values in life that I strive for. And then lastly, and this is just a partial list, you can go on and on with it, but the last question that I mentioned is, are there any alternative explanations? So, a particular rigid belief that a person may have when put under the microscope in this way can lead them to either feel, yes, this is actually what I believe, I've examined the evidence, I've tried to deconstruct my opinion and my view about it, and I still feel the same way. In that case, you've come to a deeper understanding of your own certainty of what you believe in that particular case. And alternatively, if you put this type of scrutiny upon a belief that you have and come to find that you actually didn't think of some parts of your belief that you now are coming to question, and so it's sort of shaken your belief about whatever it is that you have a belief about, then that can also be a beneficial situation, because you come to know yourself more deeply and come to change your mind. So let me give you an example of what this might look like, a specific kind of example. One that I see a lot in my line of work is a rigid and unquestioned belief about oneself. One that very, very often comes up, it seems, that people don't often know that they hold toward themselves, is that I am not good enough, or I'm not able to um, I'm not able to provide others what they need from me, or I'm somehow below standard or insufficient. These are beliefs about oneself that I come across a lot in therapy, and one of the ways that I might ask guide a person to seeing whether or not they believe that, to, in other words, help them question it, is to ask some of these questions to them. Is it true that you're actually fully inadequate in life? Can that be something that you actually know? Um, what does that do to you in terms of your behavior? How do you react to people and events in the world based on that belief about yourself? And a big one is, does holding that belief about yourself lead you to feeling better or reaching goals in life that you want? And a really important one, can you think of some alternative explanation? In the case of the example I'm giving, often it's the case that people are stuck in habits of responding to criticism, for instance, in a certain way by blaming themselves as being not good enough, when in fact it may be that that the criticism is unfounded, or maybe there are parts of what they're criticized about that they could have done better, but there are other things that they don't acknowledge that they did really well. So instead of casting a broad label on themselves as inadequate, they can begin to see, okay, I've got some places to work on, but these other things are strengths that I have, so I'm not totally inadequate. This structure of view deconstruction can be done with other types of things like political beliefs or beliefs about society and social things. I'd encourage you to use caution when trying to guide others toward deconstructing views about things like politics. Tends to be a lot of emotional charge behind those beliefs. But part of what I'm going to be asking you to do in your assignment is to turn this toward yourself. Don't choose anything spiritual or religious. That tends to be a little bit shaky ground here, but choose something that you feel very strongly about, but maybe never have called into question. And the idea is not to change your opinion about it, but it's to put the microscope to it to see if it's something you truly believe or if there are parts of it you could change. Okay, so hopefully this and the assignments posted are fairly clear. I know some of it is a little bit abstract, but I'm hoping that you can get some practice in some of these skills of maintaining a professional stance. And in the next few weeks, I'm going to be asking you to practice the 3 sets of skills we've covered: self-awareness, communication skill, self-awareness, which includes self-observation and self-regulation, communication skills, which include active listening and responding appropriately, and also these methods of maintaining a professional stance. I'll be asking you to practice them in more of a kind of diligent way, aiming toward the communications experiment assignment that I'll talk to you about in the upcoming weeks. So if any of this is unclear, feel free to reach out to me, and have a good week.